Listen, I put this in.
She was just giving information, but we didn't select
You ran it like we haven't met, but I'm just gathering like 30-second testimonials of why people are here today. Would either or both of you like to contribute? This is for CCAN, for a good cause. That's why we're here today. It's for some, are you game? You can do it off the cuff. No pressure though. Oh, rise to the occasion. Super. And it's okay if I videotape you?
Sure.
Thank you so much. I know it takes a lot of bravery. Really. But just spontaneous is so good.
Hi, I'm here because of the lack of action for climate change. I'm concerned about the future for my grandchildren. I've been fighting some of these issues for like 50 years now, but we can't stop. We have to be out there and changing policies. I believe we have the technology to save the planet, but we don't have the will. And we need to rally people to get them educated to understand what the implications are if we sit back and do nothing. So I'm here today just to show up. My body out here. I didn't even bring a sign, but I just want to join the numbers because I think this is a critical time to decide which side you want.
That was beautiful. That was great. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I didn't give you a chance to rehearse. That was superb.
Had the extra, you could feel the passion.
Yeah, well, we don't care about this. I can this and the vote. I know, and climate change. And
we have a lot of memories here. Unfortunately, we have to make new ones. I like your T-shirt. Yeah, I turned 60 in March.
Well, I'm just hoping that.
Oh, great!
Oh yeah. We're gathering.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mike. Hi. Hey, Carol. Nice to meet you.
Did you want to go, Carol? No pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I do today.
Not a problem.
Since last Friday,
this is an off time.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to wear a neutral T-shirt, even though I'm a strong Democrat, because it's not a Democrat or Republican issue. You know, it's an issue for all of us, and I hate to see it get politicized. You know?
Oh, wait! I know this person. Hold on. I can get us another one. Hello there.
Hey,
Hey, Maddie. I'm good. How are you? Would you like to tell us a little bit about why you're here today?
Just like 30 seconds, you can answer yes or no.
Well, we're here because the SCOTUS has decided that the EPA no longer has the ability to do its job, and we are here to protest that because that's what they're there to do. And this is a gross oversight of ideals versus science, and so we're here today to stand with science and to stand against SCOTUS.
Woo. And yeah, you all want to share? All right.
Yeah, she said it the best.
That's going to be behind. That's going to be behind. All right, so you're at the bar.
I'm Jenna with Appalachian Voices.
Hi.
With Virginia Innovative Tonight.
Yes. Would you like to share why you're here today?
I'd like to do your interview with you.
Does anybody else want to hold
like
any signs
sharing why
behind
you're here today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So why are you here today?
I'm here to stop environmental rollbacks in Virginia from Governor Glen Youngkin. He has set his sights on the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which makes polluters pay for polluting our environment. It's already
Debbie, you're going to be the third speaker.
millions of dollars to energy efficiency programs.
You're going to be the third speaker.
So, do you want me to start over?
No, we're here today.
All right, so it's already funneled millions of dollars to energy efficiency programs in Virginia. Taking Virginia out of this agreement, this regional agreement, would be a huge step backwards.
All right.
Sorry.
No, that was perfect.
It's not on.
There we go. That helps a lot, doesn't it?
Right.
That sure helps a lot. Okay, great. Okay, so if you'd like to get back there, if you're a little bit tighter there, I mean, that's okay. All right. My name is Glenn Bessa. I'm a climate activist here in Virginia. I've been doing it for a long time. And it's not getting any easier, is it? No. So we're really happy that you're all here today, okay, to resist what the governor is planning to do. And it's sort of unbelievable the day after the Supreme Court did what it's going to do. So we have some very special people here today to speak to you. And then, as you know,
We can't hear you. Can you hear him?
they can hear me. Okay. And then, as you know, we're here for the march backwards. We're going to march backwards. We're going to start, I'll tell you again at the end, but we're going to go across the street there to 9th and Franklin, walk up 9th to Grace, go around Grace to 8th, come back. And we got music and everything else. So we're excited about this event today. So glad you could be here. And with that, I want to introduce Mike Tidwell, who is the Executive Director of the Chesapeake Climate Action Network. Mike and I go back a long way. Mike started Chesapeake Climate Action Network in Maryland, where he's from. And then after he and the organization got Reggie adopted in Maryland, he came here to Virginia. And let me say, the fields were not as green here. It took a while. It took quite some time. In fact, when he came here, everybody said, what? We're going to try to get that passed. I think we had a Republican governor at the time and Republican legislature, so it was a tough fight. But 2 years ago, we actually passed it. And so with that, I just want to say that Reggie's been in it. CCAN, Chesapeake Climate Action Network, has been in this fight a long, long time, and so it's very appropriate that they're our host organization today. With that, let me turn it over to Mike. Mike?
I can say that's the first time I've been introduced with a brass band. It's fantastic. It's great to be together again, right? I mean, we've got so many memories here, so many rallies, so many protests, so many victories, so many peaceful arrests have taken place right here on Capitol Square with a lot of you who are here. So it's great to be together. It's too bad that we have to keep coming back and taking these actions. But again, my name is Mike Tidwell, Executive Director of the Chesapeake Climate Action Network, and the gentleman who lives right over there, Glen Youngkin, is trying to take us backwards. One thing I know about Virginia climate activists is they don't like going backwards. Am I right?
Right.
I mean, the Atlantic Coast Pipeline was announced in September of 2014. And when that pipeline was announced, everybody was against us. The courts were in the pocket of the polluters. Both political parties said, hell yeah, let's build it, including the Democratic governor of Virginia at the time. The regulators couldn't wait. Wall Street was salivating over the ACP. Everything that could be against us was against us. And we fought anyway. Year after year after year, we protested. We brought the facts to the folks in the rural areas, in the coastal areas. We brought the truth to Virginia. We went to jail. We marched. We shouted. And we won. Congratulations. Virginians don't like to go backwards when it comes to energy and climate. But that's what the governor wants to do. He wants to take the state backwards, not just on climate policy, but on abortion, on equity issues, guns, and now the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. Reggie, indelicate name, important policy. But we're not going to let them. Am I right?
Right.
I will say my organization, Chesapeake Climate Action Network, we worked on Reggie for a long time, longer than almost any group. We got the first bill introduced in 2013 to say Virginia needs to join 10 other states in having a cap on carbon pollution and using the fee to invest in climate adaptation and energy efficiency. 2013, didn't get it passed. 2014, 15, finally got it passed in 2020. And in 2 years, it has succeeded way beyond our dreams. It has raised $350 million from the polluters, who are the ones who should pay. And it's invested that money in coastal adaptation, flood adaptation, and energy efficiency gains for low and moderate income people. It is hard to conceive of a better policy than that. Make the polluters pay for warming our planet and using the money to literally save people from drowning and help low and moderate income people weatherize their homes. Hard to imagine a better bill. Yet our governor wants to stop it. He tried to get the General Assembly to stop it, and they refused. They voted for it in 2020. They had the votes. It became law. After 7 years of us campaigning, it became law and was working amazingly. But he asked the General Assembly, reject this law. They said no. And now the governor is trying to use anti-democratic means to stop this bill. He wants to pack the Air Board Court with two new like-minded, anti-climate, radical members of the board who will vote to take Reggie illegally, take Virginia out of Reggie, and we're going to stop them. We're going to stop them again because Virginians don't like going backwards on anything, especially climate. So one thing that is amazing about Glen Youngkin is this is a business leader. This is a guy who's made hundreds of millions of dollars as a captain of industry in the equity markets. And he pretends to know something about business, but apparently he didn't get the memo that Reggie is good for business. Climate policy is good for business. Clean energy is good for business. Don't ask us, the activists. Ask Facebook. Ask Google, ask Amazon, ask the Lego company. One of the reasons they decided to come here, and that secret memo that some of us saw, was because of the sustainability policies. And after they had agreed to come here, Youngkin started ripping down these policies, and it alarmed the company. And our message to Glen Youngkin is companies can come here, but they can also leave. They can leave and go to another state. If you want to take this state backwards and make it a coal-dependent, anti-climate, anti-science, drowning state, then businesses will leave, and one of them will be the steel company. You see the ads on TV? Proud to put electric lawnmowers and chainsaws and leaf blowers in Americans' hands. They're moving toward sustainable products, but they're in Hampton Roads, radically vulnerable to sea level rise, which is why we passed RGGI in the first place, to make the polluters pay, invest the money in flood adaptation and low and moderate income weather efficiency. It took us 7 years to pass that bill. Glen Youngkin obviously doesn't know the history of this bill, because if you've got people in this state who will work on a bill for 7 years until it passes, guess what? They are not going to willingly go backwards. But I'm proud, yes. But I'm proud to say today that for the first time in my life, I have been practicing walking backwards for the purposes of this march to signal what Glen Youngkin is doing. So we're going to do that today. We're going to march backwards, but then we're going to go forward. As soon as we're done with that march, we're going to keep going forward. The same way we did on the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, the same way that we're defeating the Mountain Valley Pipeline, the same way that we passed the Virginia Clean Economy Act, the same way that we passed RGGI. We're going forward in the state, not backwards. We're going to send that message to Glen Youngkin. Stay in the fight. We'll win. Thank you.
Remember, that's Glen Youngkin with two N's. I only have one. Okay. All right. As Mike said, this bill has raised over $300 million for some really good, important work. And I want to introduce Kittis Gabri with the Interfaith Power and Light of Virginia Interfaith Power and Light, who's going to talk about some of those benefits, particularly with regard to energy efficiency for low-income homeowners. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you guys. This is the first time I've also been introduced with a band, any type of band. So y'all killed it. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for showing up for this important cause today. And thank you for the amazing people here that worked hard to organize this gathering and for allowing me to speak today. My name is Kittis Gabri, like Glenn mentioned, and I am the Communicating Our Power Fellow and the Organizing Coordinator at Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. Virginia Interfaith Power and Light is a value-based interfaith organization that envisions overcoming the climate crisis, eradicating environmental and social injustices, and living in a just, thriving, and equitable world. We collaborate among people of faith and consciousness to grow healthy communities by advancing climate and environmental justice here in Virginia. And I'm here representing the various faith communities and the people of faith across the state that support our vision. As people of consciousness, we believe it is our moral obligation to cut carbon emission and relieve energy burden and guarantee access to sufficient and affordable energy for all Virginia communities. We are asking Governor Youngkin to keep Virginia in the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, RGGI, because withdrawing Virginia from RGGI hurts Virginians that are facing high energy bills and experiencing crunching energy burden. Taking away funding for vulnerable frontline communities and low-income communities to lower their bills through energy efficiency will leave many Virginians and Virginian families vulnerable to high energy bills. 164,000 Virginian households are living below the poverty level, and they pay about 31% of their income on energy costs. And another 179,000 pay about 17% of their income, far exceeding the 6% threshold considered to be non-burdensome. RGGI reduces Virginians' electricity burden by focusing on energy efficiency and weatherization efforts. Energy efficiency is needed to reduce energy consumption, low energy bills for low-income households, and create a healthier and safer livable environment. Virginia faces some of the highest electricity bills in the South, but RGGI funds dedicated to energy efficiency programs and upgrades are helping Virginians save some money on their energy bills and save some money for rent. We must stand with communities overburdened by high energy costs and those who pay a disproportionate share of their income to energy companies. Virginia has a unique opportunity to address our moral responsibility to protect our natural resources for future generations, and RGGI help us do that. We encourage Governor-elect Youngkin to provide leadership for a clean energy future and keep us in RGGI and don't take us backwards. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so thanks you for all the young people who are here, younger people than me, who are here in this climate fight. And I think as an elder myself, kind of hard, it's important to recognize that my generation, and I unfortunately is responsible for a lot of this mess. And so there's been a new organization that was created recently to bring older folks together to fight for climate because we don't want to leave a catastrophe for the younger folks. And with that, I want to introduce Deborah Kushner. Deborah, thank you.
A first for me too, but maybe not a last. I'm still reeling from yesterday's expected, but still jarring Supreme Court ruling, coming on top of so many other recent injustices and awful news. It's horrific. It's nightmarish. And I'm grieving. I'm also livid and depressed, as you probably are. But then we rise to the occasion because we must. It's said that action is the antidote to despair, and I find that that's true. I'm an organizer with Third Act, a national organization of older, experienced people focused on climate and democracy issues, both issues that are in full crisis mode. The fact that our climate crisis is well into the 11th hour is incontrovertible. The science is there, as well as our firsthand experience of storms, floods, heat, fires, and droughts. The watered-down IPCC public reports are clear. Now is when we must quit carbon. We appeal to the governor's higher self to do what's right for people and the planet at this precarious time, when the future of the entire planet hangs in the balance. The IPCC, the IEA, the UN Secretary General, 99.9% of scientists, all are sounding the loudest possible alarms. Virginia's coast is already experiencing the effects of sea level rise, but business continues as usual or goes backwards. RGGI is working, but the governor wants it gone. We recognize our responsibility to each other, to future generations and the planet, and that's why we're here. But what do we do in this desperate moment? We go big. So our small group of Third Act elders decided to do just that, to show up at our climate issue targets, branches of the biggest, dirtiest big four banks, and send them a clear message to divest from fossil fuels. In just the last 4 months, we've paid surprise visits to 6 of the big four dirty banks across the state to demand divestment in diverse ways. We sing and chant inside their lobbies. We ignore demands to leave. We've done die-ins, peaceful and prayerful processions, stuff our messages into vacuum tubes and drive-through windows, deliver our demands, our letters to branch managers for their CEOs. We chalk up their sidewalks in front of the banks, held a pop-up art show right outside one bank, complete with requisite refreshments like an art gallery opening should have. And we held a tribunal for Wells Fargo's CEO right here in Richmond, outside their downtown bank. They decided to close the bank rather than let us in, but no matter. Our message was very clear. And in the process, we educate the public, the bank customers, and shame these dirty banks. Somehow we have fun, and it feels powerful because we're talking back to the power brokers and making very clear statements we're not going away. And our gray hair really confuses them. Other third act groups are doing the same thing across the country. We are a thing. So grab, little visual aid. Grab one of these, we'll be around. Sign the pledge. It's an ultimatum for the big banks, and share widely. I haven't always been this way. My roles have always been way behind the scenes. But 1 year ago yesterday, a few months after an epiphany, I found myself locked down with 2 other elders blocking a Mountain Valley Pipeline road for a whole day. And it was great. Not that it's about me, but just to say we all have an inner warrior within us. And we can surprise ourselves with what we can do. And this moment in time is when we all need those inner warriors to be released. Whether it's for our democracy, climate, reproduction rights, or any of the myriad intersecting issues, there's a lot to do and little time to do it in. We are in uncharted waters here, but we are here. And the big, bold, new tactics will find us when we need them. We need to steel ourselves to jump in. Our situation is dire, but the positive consequence of all these recent horrific rulings, injustices, and news is people are mobilizing. We have each other, motivation, and persistence, and some cleverness. So we march today to show the governors his policies are backwards, and we will do it bigger tomorrow and bigger still the next day. Thank you.
She said we're in uncharted waters when it comes to climate change, and something that doesn't get mentioned a lot. Someone sent me a note saying, please mention ocean acidification. You know, all that carbon in the air is mixing with the ocean and acidifying the ocean. And if you like oysters, or you like seafood, or if you like an ocean that creates oxygen for us, we got a real serious problem. So we have one more speaker, and he is arriving from Hampton Roads to talk about flooding. He is going to be here momentarily, and while we wait, we thought it would be good to kind of ramp up the energy before our march. And so I'm going to turn it over to the best chant leader I know, Lee Williams. instructions before we go, because one, we want everybody to be safe, okay? So we're gonna take this nice and slow and easy when we do this. But when we're done, and we're not done yet, we're gonna file out that gate right over there, which you probably came in on maybe, okay? We're gonna go across the street very carefully. We're gonna meet on that corner, okay? We're gonna line up along 9th Street, that's 9th Street, okay? That way, okay? Because we're gonna march up 9th Street, okay? On the sidewalk, to Grace, the next block up, turn left, go to 8th Street, turn left. We're turning left, aren't we? Too bad our politics are. Turn left to get on Franklin and come back. Okay, so that's what we need to do. Okay, and we're gonna have the band kind of in front with our drum major. And, I want to thank Skip, our drum major, and I know we've got Pete, we've got Tim, and Toby on the tuba. Okay. So I'm waiting for our other speaker who will speak briefly about this issue. In the meantime, I'm wondering if we can get a bit more music. Is that okay, guys? Can we get some nice music here while we wait for our last speaker? Oh, all right. I'd like to thank Jessica Sims with Appalachian Voices for getting that band for us. And Lee Williams brought Skip Coet, who is a former drum major out of retirement today. He'd already given his bear hat away, you know, he got retired. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and take this group picture, okay? So what I'd like for you to do is kind of all get there together. We're going to get the band in front, and we're going to get these over there. There in front. Yeah. You guys can get down low. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay.
We need to be backwards. We got backwards.
We're going to choreograph this picture. Okay. Okay.